Welcome, everyone, to the fierce compassion of the divine feminine, entering the era of the Empress, where women across the globe are discovering how to embody the Empress by living a life of compassion, character, courage, and grace. I'm your host, Kathy Forrest, founder of Celestial Forest Institute, and it's my great delight to be here today with my dear friend, Jocelyn Starfeather. Welcome, Jocelyn.
Hi, Kathy. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this. I am just thrilled. I love your topic here and can't wait to be a part of it.
Awesome. Jocelyn Starfeather is a visibility and thought leadership coach for visionary entrepreneurs, a spiritual alchemist, astrologer, and founder of Sacred Planet. She shares shamanic and ancient wisdom to guide courageous seekers to co-create a revolutionary new world in alignment with Mother Earth and the vast intelligence of the cosmos. After a successful 15-year corporate career working in finance for major multinational companies, Jocelyn was thrust into a deep spiritual awakening. It was that awakening which turned her life upside down, and from which she emerged with a powerful understanding of how to use her intuition and healing abilities, aspects of herself that she never had access to before. She dove deeply into earth-based and shamanic practices, and she's studied alongside elders and wisdom keepers ever since. She has extensively studied ancient civilizations, especially cultures where the goddess held a strong presence. And she has spent profound and life-changing time in ancient temples and pyramids in Egypt. Jocelyn blends alchemy, astrology, hermeticism, ancient and indigenous wisdom, and a magical shamanic perspective to coach and guide visionary entrepreneurs, revolutionaries, and change makers all around the world. Her mission is to help people break free from everything that has held them back so they can joyfully offer their highest contribution to our collective future. You can learn more about Jocelyn on her website, wearesacredplanet.com, or her YouTube channel, which is Sacred Planet. And Jocelyn, I'm so excited about this topic. It is so perfect for what we're talking about. The Egyptian lion goddess Sekhmet and the fierce fire of the heart. Yum. So just jump in. Who is Sekhmet and why is she considered the fierce goddess in the Egyptian mythology?
Yes. Well, thank you, Kathy, for the beautiful introduction. And yeah, this topic is so potent, so important for all of us, really, because we need our fierceness. We need our courage as we're moving forward here. And Sekhmet is here to show us the way. Now, I want to show you, I have this beautiful, beautiful statue of her here. And this is a small replica of the Sekhmet statue that you'll find in Luxor in the special Sekhmet chapel, which if any of you have been there, you'll remember it because it's super powerful in there. And it's incredible because when they carved this, they really got her eyes, the way the eyes are of the one in that chapel. It's incredible. So she is here with us in statue as well as in spirit. Now, something important to remember about these really ancient goddesses, she's one of the very most ancient ones of Egypt, of ancient Egypt. And so these goddesses like Sekhmet and like Isis, who I have here over behind me, they are originating from 10 to 12,000 years ago or more. Okay, probably even more. And so they embody and encapsulate and hold the energy of how the ancient people perceived the divine feminine when she was fully in her fierce glory. Okay, so it's really important for us to turn to these goddesses again now, as you are so beautifully bringing forward here, Kathy, to be able to feel that within ourselves again, because the power of the feminine 10 or 12,000 years ago is just so far beyond anything that we see modeled, typically in our world today.
Right.
So it's really powerful to connect in with this kind of energy. Now I want to share my screen. It's not a long presentation, but I just want to share some images of Sekhmet and one of her other forms, which is Mut, because hold on a second. I don't think I did the sharing thing the right way. Here we go. Because when we look at these images from ancient Egypt, they convey so much more than any of my words possibly could. So here is one Sekhmet. Actually, this is a Mut statue. So there are two forms of her, and I'll tell a little bit more about this later, but Mut is the sacred feminine seated in her power, and she's actually the calmer, I'm not going to say tamer version, but she's the calmer version. Okay. Whereas Sekhmet is, like you see in the statue here, standing. Okay. And she is a warrior, and she is a lioness that is just incredibly fierce. So Sekhmet and Mut, they're both the fierce mother. And they're both equally a creator and a destroyer goddess. Now, this is really important to remember from our long distant past too, is that originally everyone knew that the energy of the mother was not only the one who births and brings new life, okay, but was also the destroyer goddess who enfolds us back into her womb at the end of our lives so that we can be rebirthed. And so this is the energy of Sekhmet Mut, this very fierce mother archetype. Let's go to the next one. So here are two images. It's actually, just a picture taken from the same side here. I just wanted you to be able to really see that Uraeus with the cobras all around her crown chakra. Really incredible. Now, Sekhmet originated as a form of the goddess Hathor, who we see at the top here. Hathor is the sacred cow. And she is the mother who was originally, Hathor was linked to Nut, who is the nighttime sky and the Milky Way. And the sacred cow in very, very far ancient times was always seen as correlated with the Milky Way, because as that milk comes down from the heavens, that is all the abundance that the mother is sending to us, all the nurturance that we receive to live and be abundant in our lives. So that's the original origin of Hathor. Now, this perception of the goddess having two sides, okay, the peaceful, kind of more womb and birthing oriented side, which Hathor is, and then the fierce warrior goddess side of Sekhmet. At one point in ancient Egypt, they were seen as the same goddess, but having these two different aspects. Now, as time went on, they became more and more differentiated, and today we kind of perceive them as two completely separate goddesses, Hathor and Sekhmet. Now, the ones I've shown you in the pictures so far are seated. Okay, these are seated. These are Mut. This is the sacred feminine sitting in her power. And just to give you an idea of the size, that's me there with her. You just kind of enter into this space of reverence whenever you're near her. Like, see me there. But this is the size that they were, these statues. They're very commanding. Very commanding. So Sekhmet was considered the goddess of both war and healing, which is really interesting. So the pharaohs, would turn to her when they needed to win a battle, and they would pray to her, and they would offer her, sacrifices and offerings to help them in battle. But also the doctors, the physicians, and the healers would call upon her to help them heal, to lend them her power so that they could bring through the healing energies and help people recover from illness. She was also said to bring pestilence and disease, but also be able to heal it. It's like, because she brought the pestilence, she also had the keys to how to get rid of it. And she would bring the pestilence at times when humans needed to learn something. Maybe they were living in too much excess, and they needed to be reminded of the sacredness of life again, right? Lessons like that she would bring them. So this is why she's considered very fierce, and she was feared, in some cases, but she was also very, very revered and turned to with love in other cases. So it's such an interesting goddess. Now, there's this place near Karnak Temple in Luxor, Egypt, where there are many, many, many hundreds of Mut statues, like you see here.
Wow.
There have been over 600 of them discovered so far. And what's believed is that there were originally 730. Mm. And that there were 2 for every day of the year, because they would make offerings to 2 of these statues every single day of the year, 365 days, in order to bring in, the assistance with the war, as well as the assistance with healing. And so we haven't found 730 yet, but we found 600. And so these statues you can find in museums all over the world. I originally encountered one in the Brooklyn Museum in New York, in 2019. And I think that's when she began working with me, although I didn't fully realize it at the time. So, but if you're in London or, any major cities, you probably in a local museum can visit a statue of Mut, which is really powerful. And I recommend that you do. Go and visit with her, go and sit with her for a little while and see what she transmits to you. Because these statues, and especially this one, okay, this is the one you can,
yeah, me too.
This is the statue of standing Sekhmet that is in Karnak Temple, in a very special chapel that you need a special permission to enter. And she's standing in there, and there's no lights. It's just whatever daylight can get through the door or the cracks in the ceiling. Let's just be silent for a moment and just be with her. Now, when you enter into the space with this statue, they will tell you that this is one of the very few statues of Sekhmet or any god or goddess that is still living.
Oh, you can feel that.
Local Egyptian people know about this statue. She is still living, and you can really feel it. Mm-hmm. And when you're there, oh my goodness, it's really life-altering, honestly. So we can feel her power. We can feel her deep, deep power here. And so she's really calling upon us at this time. And I'll get into that when, we get to kind of the next little round of information here. But I just wanted you to really feel her in that image. And then here's just kind of a close-up of the one that I have. And I do, if you're really moved by this, you can find these very authentic statues. This one I found on Etsy, and it was delivered from Egypt. The local craftsperson in Egypt made it. And it really does carry the energy, and it has the eyes very similar to that statue in Karnak Temple. Really amazing. Now, one more note about Sekhmet. This is her family. Ptah, who I wanted to just include this graphic image on the left because it more clearly shows him than the ones I had from the temples. But Ptah is a creator god. He's shown with the blue skull cap, which links him to the sky above, and all of the creation realms of the heavens. And he's often shown with a potter's wheel and working on the potter's wheel because he is crafting the physical forms of his creations in the world. And he creates humans and animals and all the forms that we see in physical reality. So this is Ptah and Sekhmet are consorts. They are in partnership, and their son is over here on the right, and his name is Nefertum. So you can see he is a lion being as well. Now he has Horus with a lotus flower on Horus's head, on Nefertum's head, signifying the highest consciousness available to us. And he holds the eye of Horus, which represents the moon and the feminine energy, at his heart. Very powerful. So he carries a strong heart energy, and he's considered the lotus god. This image is from Abydos, the temple of Seti I. So This is Sekhmet's family. This is her her partner and her son, also very powerful beings in their own right. So that's all I have for the slides and images, but just to give you a more deep felt sense of who she really is.
Thank you for that. That was amazing. I felt like I was there. And the one that's alive, whew, that was huge, 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 huge. So we've gotten to see the different aspects of Sekhmet, different forms.
I can say a little more about that part, actually.
I would love for you to do that. That was my
part is
next
really
question.
important. Yeah. So as you saw from some of the pictures, there is the standing Sekhmet, and she is the one really especially associated with war, more with the, sending pestilence to teach, to help us learn our lessons. She is extremely fierce and she's ruthless, and she was even called bloodthirsty in some of the ancient Egyptian texts. And there were some of the other names that you can read in some of the ancient texts are she before whom evil trembles, or the Lady of Slaughter. Now, that Lady of Slaughter and some of these titles refers to one of the most well-known stories about her, which is that at a certain point, humanity was just getting completely out of control. The sun god Ra was who they were meant to be, primarily worshiping, and they were not doing that anymore, and they were just going to excess, and they were not following natural order and cosmic law anymore. And so Ra, in this story, created Sekhmet. From his right eye, he created her, and he sent her down to the humans, and she just began killing everybody. She just began like bathing the ground in blood with her, killing. Well, at a certain point, Ra saw that she had gotten out of control. And so he decided he needed to trick her, and she had done enough. She had done the task he assigned to her well enough. And so he filled the Nile River with red beer that looked like blood. And so she got very excited about that and went and just started drinking the water from, or the beer from the Nile River. And she became so drunk that she basically kind of collapsed and stopped the killing. And when she woke up, she went back to Ra, and he said, okay, your job is done. So it's quite a story, quite a fierce story, but this is one of the ways that she was known, that level of fierceness to bring things back into natural order and cosmic law. So always she is serving Ma'at, okay, and that's the goddess of natural order and balance and harmony. She's trying to keep things in balance. And sometimes in the world, we have to have chaos come in, we have to have destruction come in order to remind us who we really are and bring us back to our normal state of balance. Right. So this is more of the Sekhmet, the standing version of the goddess. Now, Mut, who we saw, who is the seated, fierce, divine feminine, she is seated there with the uraeus, which is the crown of cobras, around her crown chakra. Okay, so she stands for this fiery, highest consciousness available to humanity. And she does not need to make war or kill people or do anything. She's just sitting there. And she is in her power, and whatever she wills with that highest consciousness will be. So this is such a powerful archetype for us to be aware of, for us to connect in with, okay? That we don't have to be out there, doing a bunch of stuff all the time, right? How much can we actually accomplish just by sitting in our power, just by holding the highest energy and doing our meditations or our practices, or being a good mother, or doing our work in the best way that we can, and sending that out, rippling that out. So really important to understand those two very different aspects of this.
Can you talk a little bit more about how we can bring her energy? Because it embodies everything that we're doing in this summit. How can we just, everyday moms, everyday entrepreneurs, bring this energy into our own lives and use it?
Yes, that is the most important question of all. And I connected in with her, especially with the statue that I have here this morning. And she gave me a really strong message. So I'm just going to kind of close my eyes and let that message come back through here.
Beautiful.
So she said to everybody listening to this interview today, she says, your fierceness is needed. Your courage is so deeply needed. It takes tremendous fierceness and courage to look beyond the constructs that are keeping your world stuck, to look beyond the limitations that you've been told, to look beyond the things you've been taught that have nothing to do with truth. It takes tremendous fierceness and courage to see past those and choose a new path and choose a new life for yourself from the inside first, from the inside. And then you will be able to express that more and more outwardly, but just to begin in the heart, to begin in the heart and choose a new life, a new path that is not dependent on what the mainstream reality is saying, that is not dependent even on what your family and friends may say, if you know that to be false. Start in your heart. Find out what is really true for you, and then defend that and stand for that with all of your courage, with all of your fierceness. I want to see if there's anything more. That was the really strong message she gave earlier. You know, I think what is important for us to know here is that we all have this fierceness inside of ourselves. Every one of us, men, women, you know, everybody. This is not only for the feminine, it's not only for the women, because we all have this fierce feminine within ourselves, regardless of what gender we are. And this is as I mentioned at the beginning, this is the original true form of the mother, right? The one who is not only the creator, but also the destroyer. Sometimes things need to be destroyed in order for us to move forward. So at this time on our planet where we are, I know everyone listening is feeling this in their life in some way. We're being called so profoundly to release and let go of what's old and no longer serving us. And sometimes we do need to be really fierce about that. Sometimes we need to take a leap, you know, try something we've never done before, or let go of a relationship we've been holding on to for a long time. And so when we're faced with these kinds of major life decisions, it helps to remember that fierceness we hold within. So this is something really powerful we can each do for ourselves. And it can be very simple, just maybe when you first wake up in the morning. Let this be the first thing that you think of. Just take 5 minutes before you even get out of bed, connect in with your heart and look for the fierceness in there. Look for the courage, the deep, deep courage that's in there. Really connect with that and let it grow. See it as a light, see it as a fire. She's very fiery. See that as a flame in your heart and let it just expand, expand, expand. And it might be easy for you, or it might feel hard at first, but whatever it is, just do it again every day and let that fierceness expand more and more. And you're going to really feel her power coming into your life. I'll tell you from a personal story about her. For when I first went to visit her in Karnak, that statue that's still alive, I looked into her eyes and she told me, "Now you are free." And I thought, ooh, yay. That sounds good. And then what has happened in the couple of years since then is that a lot of things I've had to give up, release, let fall away, a lot of things. And what I'm realizing is everything that I let go of, everything that I release my attachment to, I'm more and more free. So she does have this quality of being able to burn down what's no longer needed, let it go. And so, but again, that takes a lot of courage to allow that to happen. So when we invoke her, it's important to know that you may be called to release some things. You may be called into your highest courage. But what happens through that process is we step into our own power in a really big way, realizing, oh, I didn't need that house. Oh, I didn't need that relationship. I'm still okay. I'm actually stronger now. Although I didn't feel strong, for whenever that happened, I know I'm stronger now. I know I have even a more solid grounded basis to stand on and to be who I truly am. So this is the kind of fierceness that's going to lead us into our new world.
Yeah.
That's going to really allow each of us to shift our own lives into alignment with truth, into alignment with that fierceness and courage within, so we can live in the way we've always wanted to. So we can live in our power, so we can live truly free. And that's what she really, really ultimately wants for us.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So I know you're going to lead us in a guided meditation so that we can connect more deeply with her. Would you like to talk about the free gift you're giving to all of our listeners before that or after that?
Yeah, let's talk about the free gift now, and then everybody can kind of
Yeah.
stay in the meditative place.
Right. Yeah.
That would
That's
be
kind
great.
of what I thought.
Yes, so my free gift is called Awaken Your Connection with Ancient Egypt. And so we've talked a lot today about Sekhmet and Mut. In this presentation, you'll learn about some of the other netters, which is what we call the gods and goddesses in Egypt. And it's a really beautiful and profound exploration where I'm going to share with you a lot of images from the temple walls in Egypt. It's very inspiring, very uplifting, and you can really connect in with that far distant past and all the truths of that we held at that time. So I hope you all will really enjoy it. It's a very powerful video.
Oh, I love your videos about it. Just you transport us there. So yeah, they're awesome. Everyone should sign up for that free gift for sure.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
So you can just dive in, just take it away. Whatever you want us to do as far as the meditation, we are ready.
Okay. That sounds good. I think I will put, since I shared my screen already anyway, I think I'll put up an image of Sekhmet just because that will help you all connect in with her even more strongly. So actually, let's do the Luxor temple statue. And I recommend, for this meditation, actually, you could close your eyes or you could just gaze into her eyes.
Yeah, it's so powerful.
May be very, very powerful if you do choose to. So get comfortable in your space, and you can be sitting up or laying down, whatever you prefer. Or you can let this be a movement meditation where you just follow where your body wants to go. And close your eyes or gaze into her eyes here. And take a deep breath into your heart, really feeling how you're filling up your heart and your lungs with oxygen and sunlight and all the magic that surrounds us. And then breathe out, releasing, letting go of any tension, letting go of anything that your mind is holding on to. Just release, come fully present here. Take one more deep breath in, filling your heart and lungs with all the beautiful elements that surround us. And breathe out, releasing, relaxing. And I invite you to imagine yourself in Karnak Temple in Egypt. And even if you haven't been there before, it's okay. Just imagine that you are walking through a magnificent temple with beautifully carved pillars that seem to reach up to the sky. And you're surrounded by the hieroglyphic messages of our ancient ancestors, speaking of truth and natural order, cosmic law. Go ahead and walk between these beautiful columns until you arrive to a place behind the temple where the chapel of Sekhmet is located. And the guard opens the door, letting in only a little bit of sunlight, and you walk into her chapel. And you see her here, right in front of you. And you gaze into her eyes. As you gaze into her eyes, you feel this incredible warmth around the area of your heart. And it feels as if she is filling you up with fierce love that is coming from the heavens above and from the earth below, and streaming straight into your heart. And as you're standing there before her, continuing to gaze into her eyes, allow your heart to be filled with all the feelings that you most deeply wish for yourself and for others on our beautiful planet to experience. Allow your heart to be filled with joy, gratitude, and love, and a feeling of abundance and freedom. Really feel these beautiful emotions filling up your heart, expanding your heart. And know that this is the truth of who you are. Peace and joy and love. And whatever struggles you may be going through in your life, this is your true and essential power, is to come back to the knowledge of what is true and what you always hold in your heart. And maybe now smile at Sekhmet and thank her for helping you to see this, for helping you to fill your heart these beautiful emotions. And know that she wants you to feel more and more like this, more and more of the time. Go ahead and gaze into her eyes and listen carefully, because she has a special message just for you. So listen carefully. And once you receive that message, if there's something you would like to ask her, go ahead and ask her that question now. And just listen to hear her answer. And then take these words, these gifts that she has given to you today, and put them in your heart. Know that you will always have her words with you. You will always have her fierceness within you to do whatever needs doing in your life. You can return to your connection with her. You can return to that fierceness in your heart at any time that you need it. So thank her. You can give her a hug if you'd like. You can kneel before her if you would like, whatever feels right to you. And then turn and walk out the door. And the guard closes and locks that door behind you. And as you walk back through Karnak Temple once again, really taking the beauty of these columns, the figures that are carved on them, and let every cell of your being soak up the deep wisdom of this ancient temple and all the codes that are written here, all the star knowledge that is encoded here. Just soak it all up. And when you get back to the entrance of the temple, stand there and let the sun shine brightly on your skin. And know that you are always home. And just connect in with your heart at any time that you need to come back home. So go ahead now and take a deep breath into your heart once again, breathing in and feeling all of the new abundance and gratitude and joy that is here in your heart center. And then release that breath, releasing, relaxing. Breathe in once again, really integrating and anchoring in the words and the messages you received from Sekhmet today, really anchoring them into your heart. Remembering the power of them. And then breathe out, releasing, relaxing, and open your eyes when you're ready.
Beautiful, Jocelyn. Thank you so much for sharing that and getting us started off on the right foot in this beautiful summit that we're all going to do together. I so appreciate you and what you're doing for the planet. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Kathy. I hope everybody will receive so much from this and continue to be in communication with Sekhmet even after this interview is done.
For sure.